Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing, my friends? Let's start lesson number 6 today. We will be talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this lesson. And we will learn a new word. And the word is taqwa. What is it? Taqwa. What does taqwa mean? It's a big word, right? So inshallah we'll talk all about it today. And after, when you're done the class, you will know what taqwa is. And then you can go and tell your parents what taqwa is. And you can tell your friends what taqwa is. So taqwa, the meaning of taqwa is love and fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Love and fear, two things at the same time, right? You know what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to have taqwa. And the more taqwa a person has, the more closer that person will be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that this book, which book? The Quran, it is a guidance for the one who have taqwa. MUTTAQEEN means the people with taqwa. So the Quran is for who? For the people who have taqwa, who have love and fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how many of you know that the book, the Quran, it is a word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Everything in the Quran you read, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's letter to you. And this book shows people how to be the best, how to be happy, how to be successful, and how to earn Jannah. And you know, there are lots and lots of people who read that book. So many people read that book, but unfortunately not everybody have taqwa. Not everybody is successful. So now what? One, I'm telling you that the one who reads this book has all the instructions how to be successful. And the other hand, there are so many people who read that book, but they're not successful. Get it? There's a map. There is written instructions how to be successful. But not everybody who reads it is successful. You know why? Because the difference is, some people, the only people who have taqwa, who love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most and who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most, will this book show them to how to be successful, how to go to the right path, how to get out of all the troubles. Did you see that maze, the picture I put here for you? It's a maze, right? Is it easy for you to solve those kind of problems? It's so hard for me to get out of the mazes. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches people how to get out of the problems of the life. So the book is guidance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that this book is guidance. This book shows you how to go, where to go, and how to be successful. But it is guidance only for who? The one who are muttaqeen. So still it's not clear that what really taqwa is, right? I'm going to teach you today. Taqwa has so many meanings, but today we will only talk about two. And if you understand those two, that's enough for you for now. One is loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most. Love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most, more above than anything else. Because when we understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who created us, when we understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gives us nice parents, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who chose us to be in their house, who chose us to be the baby of those parents, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gives us all the yummy food that we eat. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decision that who gets to eat what. When we understand that, and I think by now you should understand that. You have done so many lessons about that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator. He created everything and He chooses who should have what and who should not have what. Sometimes we want something so desperately, but we cannot get it. It's so easy for other people, but we don't have it because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses that for us. And the things that we have, that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decision. And so we have so much. We cannot complain that why we don't have this one thing or that two things, right? So when we understand that, And then we understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses us to be so special. Look at you. You are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's friend. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose you to be in his team. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose you to be Muslim. You know, there are so many people in this world, they don't even know that there is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People think, oh, things will just happen, things are just happening. And when they are sad and they get so depressed that they are sick because they cannot talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because they don't know. They don't know that there is someone who loves them so much and who can take care of them and who will give them if they ask. That's the difference. That's the difference between you and them. And that's why you are muttaqi. You are the person with taqwa. Because you can say, I love Allah the most. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves me so much, right? So how does it work? The more you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more you think about your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more taqwa you will have. Okay, so you want, because taqwa, the people with taqwa will be successful. And who doesn't want to be successful? Who wants to fail here? Nobody, right? So to be successful, we have to have connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how we'll get that? When we love him. Now let's talk about the other meaning. The other meaning of taqwa is fear of Allah. How you can love someone and then you can be fearful. We know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us so much. We know he's so kind. We know he loves us more than our mom and dad. Then how can we fear him? That's tricky, right? So let's step back. Pay attention, okay? You know, when you understand that Allah is the most strongest, Allah has the most power. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do anything he wants to. He can pick up a mountain and throw it on someone. He can tell the rain, the clouds to send so much rain that there is a flood. He can tell the ocean to send all the water out on the earth and kill everyone. He is so powerful. He can do anything he wants. And the people and the things and the sun and the moon and the skies and earth and trees and mountains and water, everything, he is the owner of everything. Nobody can hurt him, but if he wants, he can destroy everything. That is a point that we have to understand. Okay? And when we do understand that, then we know that we should love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most. Because if somebody is so powerful, and we don't love him, and we don't want to be in his team, and we want to do whatever we want to do, then we are making him angry. And we don't want to do that. Then we understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending his orders by the book, by Quran. They are in the Quran. And we learn those orders and we follow those orders. Because he's the boss. He's your boss. He's my boss. He's your parents' boss. He's everybody's boss. And we are supposed to listen to our boss. So that, when we think like that, then we feel closer because, okay, he loves me, he's my best friend, and he's so powerful. So, then, we care about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to get upset. We don't want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to get angry, right? And you know that the more we care about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then more taqwa we will have. Then more closer we will get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And more we understand his powers, then the more taqwa we will have. Then we will be more closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you understand now what taqwa is? What is taqwa? Taqwa is love and fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the same time. Loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and having the fear that he can destroy and he can punish. And how many of you know that when we die, after death, everybody is going to go and stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then everyone has to answer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, okay, what did you do when you were on earth? When you went to school, how did you talk to your teacher? How did you talk to your friends? What were you saying in your friends' ears? When you were using your computers and your iPads, what were you doing? What were you watching? And when you were talking to your mom and dad, how were you talking? How much help did you do? How much help did you help the poor and the needy? Or did you help clean the house? Or did you pray when it was time to pray? Or did you finish your food? Or were you disrespectful to your parents? I was talking to someone yesterday and the mom told me that her son is so disrespectful. He talks back. And you know, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that again and again and again, that you have to be so nice to your parents, even nicer than how nice they are to you. When you were a baby, who took care of you? You couldn't even stand up and go and eat. Did you get your own milk bottle when you were a baby? Did you go and warm your own bottle in the microwave and drank it? Your mom did that for you. Your dad did that for you, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that how they took care of you, you have to take care of them more than that. Ihsan. Ihsan is something, to do something for someone more than what they did for you. That is order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the people there who ignore their parents' instructions, and the people who think that this, whatever I'm watching is more important, or because other people are misbehaving with their parents, I should too. Or the shows I was watching, in the show the kids were so rude to their parents and they were making fun of their parents, so I should too. Or even when you grow up a little bit, you know what kids do? They think, oh, my mom and dad, their English is not very good, so they feel embarrassed and then they insult them. There are so many reasons, because Shaitan is keep telling us that we should disrespect our parents, because Shaitan knows when we do that, it will make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala angry. And then we will not be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the book? What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? This is the book open. You are learning how to read it. Everybody knows, every Muslim knows how to read it. Or if not, they are learning how to read it. And we try to find out what the book says. You know, there are teachers of the Quran in universities and they are not Muslim. They know everything in the book. But is this book the guidance for them? No. Why not? Because those people are not muttaqeen. And muttaqeen means the people with taqwa. And taqwa means love and fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most. If you love someone, how is that possible that you don't follow the instructions? That's not even possible. If you love someone, then how is that possible that you don't care that what that someone wants from you? Right? That's not possible. So we cannot fake love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can tell people I love you when we don't love them. Right? Just the dialogue. But you can't do that with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's in our heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what we are thinking. So we really, really, really have to purify our hearts. And we really have to get the knowledge. Because faking is not going to work. Okay, this book is the book of guidance. This book is going to give you help. It's going to help you. If you are sad, just go and open the book. It will give you happiness. Is there any book in the world which teaches you everything and it gives you the happiness at the same time? It's not just boring instructions. It has the stories of the prophets, the stories of there is a story of boys and young kids like you. There are stories of the people who were thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there are stories of the people there who were not thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It books tells us that how we should behave, how we should talk. Especially, I'm telling you this almost in every class, do not talk back to your parents. Talking back to your parents will take you away, far away from Jannah. It makes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so angry. When you're talking back to your parents, then Shaitan is standing there with you. So you have to be really careful. Because if you really fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from today, you are going to be extra nice with your parents. These are your first test. They're so nice to you. And then I get those complaints, which is not fair at all. And the book shows us how to go to the right path. Because, you know, there are so many paths when you go, when you know, your parents have map when they're going somewhere, right? They have GPS, or they have a map on the phone or in the car, or and that map shows us and gives us instructions how to get there. The Quran has the instructions which teaches us how to get to Jannah. And who are the most successful people? The people who will enter Jannah. You could be so successful in this dunya. You could have everything from this dunya, but a person who does not enter Jannah is not successful. Because that is the life that we will never die. Never, never, never. And we don't want to be in a place where we are not happy, when we have to live forever, right? So let's start from praying 5 times and respecting our parents, because those are the instructions in this book. And there are many, many other instructions which you should learn one by one, inshallah. Okay? Inshallah. So we can go on the right path. We can be successful. So I hope that you understand loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and having the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taqwa. Understanding that I am so special for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is special to me too. Most special. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses me to be Muslim, chooses me to understand that who He is, chooses me to read His book, wants me to go to Jannah, then I love Him. I love Him so much. I love Him the most, right? And I do not want to make Him angry. Because who wants their best friend to be angry? Nobody, right? And especially if the best friend is so strong and has superpowers, real superpowers, the powers that nobody in this whole entire world has. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَاتَّقُوا inna Allah khabirum bima ta'malun. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking to you and me, that fear Allah. Surely Allah is aware of all your actions. If you are hiding and doing something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. If you are thinking something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. If you think that nobody knows and I can do something and then I can say I didn't do it or I won't tell anybody, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, fear Allah. Don't make Allah angry. If Allah said don't do it, don't do it. Doesn't matter if somebody is watching or not. Doesn't matter how much shaitan is telling you to do it, do it, do it, do it. It's okay, do it. Nobody's watching. Don't do it. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not do it. Fear Allah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows all your actions. So, what is taqwa? Fear and love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Love because He loves me and He gave me everything. And fear because He's so strong and He has power over everything and I don't want Him to be angry. He's my best friend and I don't want Him to be angry. You know, anybody with the working brain will never want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be angry. Anybody who has a working brain will want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will be so careful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happy with them. So today your homework is, first of all, keep eye on your own deeds, okay? When you're doing something from morning till evening, just pause and think that, okay, is this making Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happy or angry? Do I have taqwa or not? Because I can't be with you all the time. Your parents can't be with you all the time, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, and angels are writing everything, left or right. If you have taqwa, your things are going on your right shoulder. But if you don't have taqwa, then they are going on your left shoulder, right? So keep eye on your deeds, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows and we want Him to be happy with us. Okay? And your homework today is that this is for 7 days, okay? You have to do it for 7 days. Every night, talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 5 minutes. Pick a time when nobody's around, night or day or whenever, but just talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you can feel that connection, okay? And the other thing is that when you think to yourself, you know how we are thinking to ourselves when we are alone, we are thinking, okay, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna do that, why did he say that, What did my mom do? We're thinking to ourselves, right? Don't think to yourself. In your thoughts, talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's your homework. Practice. Because that will, inshallah, increase your taqwa. And from now, I am going to use that word again and again, taqwa, okay? So remember that. Taqwa is your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. If you have any questions or comments, send them to me, okay? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.